Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR 25 career mode here on the channel. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we take on season 2 of our ARCA series to kick off this career mode, and today is all about kicking off and, well, completing the first half of the season, which is going to be a season all about proving that we are a right choice to move up into the truck series for next season. And we didn't have enough rep to move up into trucks, which is why we had to do one more season here in ARCA, but we are at rank 2 for the reputation. We're not far away from rank 3. We will easily hit it in this episode, and now we can focus in on Daytona and the other 9 races to follow in this first half of this season here, all in one episode. It's going to be kind of a summary episode of what was kind of going on here now, as we're going to be able to comfortably run a level 5 car on all components all season long, and we've got really good funds coming into this season with the top tier racing team, and we would qualify 25th to kick off the season. We've got the Intercomp sponsorship for the entirety of this second season as well, so they will be on board to support us all 19 races here now, as we were ready to hit the grid to kick off a new season 1 year following our violent crash on the final lap in Daytona, where we went up and over and tumbling. It was a nasty crash where we walked away okay, and now here we are back in the high banks of Daytona, ready to go green in a new season of the ARCA series kicks off. And you know, I didn't want to be in ARCA for a second season, but sometimes that's the way things works out. When you're trying to climb your ladder into the top series of NASCAR, you got to do what you got to do to prove that you can belong and fight with some of the big drivers, and that is what we're planning to do this season. I think it's going to take us a little bit longer to maybe get a win still. We still haven't really had much of experience fighting for wins outside of Bristol in the last season with William Sawalich, so it's going to still take some work here, but I think we're going to be able to, once we do get a win, I think the floodgates are going to open and we're going to win a lot of races here now, as we're behind Becca Monopoly here now, as into turn number 1. You can see on lap 2 already some issues in front of us, smoke, and around goes someone. Couldn't quite catch who that was, but they're dead. Oh my goodness, a violent crash similar to mine, and then there's another crash up ahead as well. After the caution flies, 2 crashes, 1 caution, Cole Raz goes around, and we would get ready for a restart. After that, got all settled out. Brayton Lester right in front of us with some damage. We were P20 coming to the restart here, in a wild start to the season in Daytona now, as fortunately we avoid both of the crashes on lap 2 and we can focus in on moving our way forward. And there you got last season winner Alex Clubb damaged in the 0-3, and he is way off the pace now. As we head down this back straightaway, we'll clear him easily, and we might even have a good shot to get into the top 10 here. I mean, we still got another half of this race to go, and look at the suck up to the back of this pack now. An absolutely massive run. There's Isabella Robusto, but a contact with the 55 there, but we'll hopefully be able to just follow through and get clear of her. Yes, we do. She'll slide in line behind, and you can see as these laps going on, the chaos picking up, and we're up into P13 now, making moves, and pretty well anywhere there's an opening is where I was putting this car. And now we're 3 wide here with Brayton Laster on my inside now as we exit turn 2, lap 7 of 10 at this point. Jake Finch on my nose, but we would stay up top here with 3 to go. Into turn 1, you got Brendan Queen just in front there. Brad Smith gets hung out of line, as you got a lot of cars kind of focused on the inside lane now as we exit turn 2, heading down this backstretch. So now as we came off of turn 4, a bit of a moment right there in front of us. You got the 28 still of Brendan Queen, just came up short of a championship last season to William Sawalich. Now starting the final lap of racing, we do have to make it back to the checkered, otherwise we can go to overtime in the ARCA series now as we roll through turns 1, and as we head down into 3 on this final lap. I'm going to catch outside wall a little bit now. Cletus McFarland leads, but around goes Brendan Queen. Tire down, it looked like, and the caution flies, and Cletus McFarland leading going into ARCA overtime. It's going to be a 2-lap sprint from the 14th position. My goal here at this point was just getting the car home in one piece, because we have been able to do that so far, and I would really like to just, end things differently than Daytona ended last season, where we were up on our roof on the final lap in NASCAR or ARCA series overtime. So that was really my main goal here, get to the start-finish line without dying. Basically 1 lap to go. At this point, we're down in P16, making a move 3 wide to the outside. No guarantees this is going to work, but look at the run we have. 4 wide up front. Amber Balcaine in the conversation. I'm going to go with the fellow Canadian here. Give a shot to her back bumper as we roll through 1 at a turn number 2. Down this back straightaway, close quarters racing. The intensity of super speedways is unmatched in NASCAR 25. Now we've got help coming from behind. We're all pushing on each other. We're going to hook Finch into the outside wall. He saves it, I think. Yes, he does, but he's got the damage done. We'll come back down the racetrack into P12. That was just an accordion effect. I was pushing him. I was getting pushed from behind as well. And as we come back to the start-finish line, Cletus McFarlane has lost the lead, and it's Ed Pompa who's taken victory as we cross the line for P10. What a finish in Daytona. What a final couple of laps in general, as McFarlane comes up short and Brayton Laster. It was 3 wide at the line for the checkered flag, and all 3 of those guys were side by side. As we can move on and focus in onto the calm part of the season for a few races and jump into race 2 at Phoenix Raceway, where we would qualify in the 8th position. This is a track where we showed some good promise at last season in the season finale, literally just like 2 races ago in the last episode, of course, and now we're looking to be able to rebound here with a nice result once again under the lights here from Phoenix Raceway. A strong top 10 effort to start the second season in ARCA, but like I said, the way we're going to get a cup or a truck series offer is by winning races, and we have still yet to do that, and I am guaranteeing we're going to be able to win races this season. It's just a matter of time, and like I said earlier, I think once we do win, the floodgates are just going to open, and we're just going to keep winning at that point once we kind of figure out the recipe to success in this ARCA series. Now you can see us at the end of lap 1, starting to work our way forward after a bit of a slow start as usual. Now up the inside, cutting down onto this dog leg, and there we go up into the top 8, and we're just going to keep on ripping here, hopefully past some of these cars now, as we've got overall very, very solid pace in this number 41 Toyota Camry for Top Tier Racing. Now as we are starting to roll up a little higher in 3 and 4, and we move ourselves up into P6 to the back of Lawless Allen, up the inside of him here, and we'll cross down again onto the dog leg, and this will be a move that gets us in towards the top 5 running position. Now as we would do the same thing with LeVar Scott, passing him just about the halfway point in this race, and William Sawalich was out to a commanding lead, working his way through some lap traffic. Brendan Queen not quite having the race he would like, but I had settled into P4. I couldn't really go any further than 4th here tonight under the lights, so it was looking like I was just going to have to settle for a 4th place effort, which is still a very solid way to kind of kick things off after a top 10 in Daytona. To the final lap, William Sawalich leading through 3 and 4 for the final time. We're 3 wide with some lap traffic, but we'll exit turn 4 to take a 4th place finishing effort here from Phoenix, setting ourselves up very well going into race number 3 on this season to hopefully continue this top 10 streak. Now Sawalich takes victory over Reef and Queen and myself. Now race number 3, Bristol Motor Speedway. We were oh so close to victory here last time out, of course, when we had a drag race with William Sawalich, and then of course coming to the final lap we made some contact, and he was able to sneak out of that with the lead and kind of keep me at bay basically. But now here we are, starting a little bit further down the order than I would prefer, but I think we can still have a very solid result. How about Greg Van Alst up here in the conversation as we're right behind the 23 of Reef? They would both settle in front of me as we were running P9, as right now Jake Finch takes the lead, as I was kind of becoming a fan of this move at Bristol where you kind of run the bottom on the entrance and then you just try to slide up. You basically do the slide job, and of course we come from not only a road racing background, but we did plenty of dirt racing as well, where slide jobs are the name of the game, and I feel like we can kind of rely on the experience of that at tracks like Bristol, as unfortunately it was pretty short-lived after those moves. I would now drop back down behind Reef, and then Greg Van Alst to my inside. I just didn't have the car that I quite needed here in Bristol, unfortunately now, as we would continue to run in the 9th position, and that was pretty well all she wrote for a little bit again. We come to lap 16, crash in front of us now, and that's going to bring out a yellow, and there you go. That's going to move us up to P8 for a late race restart. That was Kitzmiller who went around, and now it's going to be Jake Finch leading, going into a late race restart now with William Sawalich joining him on the front row. We would get back underway from the 8th position, and it's just a handful of laps to go at this point now, as Greg Van Olst up here in that 35, still having a great run, nearly into the outside wall for myself. The 79 of Isaac Kitzmiller to my inside as we roll through 3 and off of turn number 4 down this front straightaway to the line. Just a handful of laps remain now, as up front Sawalich is to the inside of Finch. We're 3 wide in the middle between Kitzmiller and Reeve. Contact at the 79 and myself bounce off each other. We bounced into the 23. We all save it and keep it going. Kitzmiller would get through, and we would eventually clear Reeve, so we would settle back into 8th, but a switchback move from Reeve, and this battle continues on as he continues to rage on the inside and try to get himself clear of myself. Isabella Robusto is now battling up there for the lead, and on the final lap she was clear of Sawalich, as we would have to settle for 9th, and Isabella Robusto would take victory here from Bristol Motor Speedway, a 3rd consecutive top 10 to kick off the first 3 races of the season. Still would have preferred a little bit better of an effort here from Bristol, but P9 nonetheless. We're not going to hang our head over that kind of result. Now we can go into race 4, Rockingham, where everything started. Of course, we've raced here a few times now, and we would get underway here behind Robusto. Now Patrick Staropoli in the number 15 up here in the conversation. We qualified in the 8th position, as we would now have about 10 laps of racing. After all of the hours I've already spent on this new NASCAR 25 game, I would say this is probably my favorite track so far. Rockingham is awesome to drive. You can run the bottom, you can run the middle, you can rip the top if you want as well, and it's just a lot of fun to carry momentum on this racetrack. Now, as you can see me getting a little bit aggressive there with Kyle Keller, as we would get up the inside here, pass as well Robusto, slide across her nose now, and as we now moved up into P8, I felt like we had honestly a car capable of running about top 5. I was just kind of struggling to make the right moves at this point now as we go for P7. There's Brendan Queen as well running down here in P6, while Sawalich leads the way. So not a great run going right now for Brendan Queen, but nonetheless we do run him down. And here we are with 5 laps to go, making a move on Queen, and as well an opportunity to maybe pass LeVar Scott. So we'll clear the 28 on the exit of turn 2 down this back straightaway, crack the outside wall. That carries or hurts our momentum, and off the exit of turn 4, Queen actually goes for a spin just behind me. Thank goodness we had gotten in front of him before that had happened, but we would go back green from the 6th position, and it's going to be just 2 laps of racing to go. So Brendan Queen not having the best of seasons to kick things off, as we lose a position there to Andy Jankowiak now as we drop to P7, maybe P8 if Robusto can get past us as well, as we head down into turn number 3, and it's all William Sawalich at this point leading the way on the exit of turn 4, coming to the white flag, sucking up to the back of the 20 of Lawless Allen into turn 1 on this final lap. We're just going to kind of rip the top now too high into the outside wall, and that kills our progress in what looked like was going to be a top 5. Ends up being an 8th place result. So we continue the top 10 streak, but we continue to not find victory lane. Staropoli actually up there in P2, a great effort from him, as William Sawalich would take victory. That would then lead us into Talladega, and this is going to be a track where, of course, the top 10 streak very well has the ability to come to an end, and I was just trying to play my cards smart and be careful. In this race we qualified 24th, so I knew that it was going to be a tricky one to get up front. There's Corey Day in the number 77 to my inside, clear, but as we head down the back straightaway, we have a huge run as we head into turn number 3, and this would move us up into the top 20. There's Amber Balcane there in that Toyota number 22 right there on my outside. We'll clear her as we roll through 3 and off of turn 4 behind Alex Clubb in the 03. Do we follow him, or do we go back down to the middle lane? That's what we're going to do, stay in the middle now and just hope that it works out now as we come to lap 2 now out of turn 2, and there you see William Sawalich caution's actually out, so there's been a crash somewhere. I believe it was maybe towards the back because I didn't see it anywhere near me. So this would then force a late race restart here for this Talladega race, and we had worked our way up into the 11th position. at this point now. And with 2 laps to go in this race, we start behind Cole Rasdale. Quarterly's going to have a chance to get down if he wants to take it, which it looks like he will. And as we came through towards turn 3, we actually got forced 3 wide, 4 wide, middle by Kitzmiller's. I had a bit of a bobble into turn 3, wiggled up the racetrack, and the 97 did not wait for a move to be made. We're beating and banging all over the place, trying to force moves here. Everyone's just absolutely hustling to the end of this race now, coming to the final lap. LeVar Scott going backwards now, and we'll try to settle in behind William Sawalich now as we head down this back straightaway. 3 wide on the top on the final lap. Everyone is bump drafting so hard. LeVar Scott leads the middle, or the inside lane, as now it's just 2 lanes, 2 by 2 through 3 and 4 for the final time. Lawless Allen leads the top. Sawalich and the 27 go high. I say don't mind if I do. Through the middle, we're going to give a 20 a huge shot to the back bumper, propels him forward, and LeVar Scott leads the way into the tri-oval for the final time as we continue to push. Lawless Allen contact with the 27 of Tim Richmond. We race up the racetrack, we save it, and we'll settle for P5 in Talladega as LeVar Scott would pick up the victory. Wild racing again as usual at a super speedway as Scott picks up the win and another top 10. Now we were now 5th in the standings following Talladega here, as we still have a few more races to go in this episode, but Sawalich had a commanding lead. He was a good 30 points in front of myself as we were headed into Kansas. Now this was a track where I felt like we had an opportunity to maybe actually do something big and maybe find a way to victory lane here, but of course it doesn't help when you have a bit of a poor start. Now 7 laps of racing in Kansas. I had shortened the races at this point because here in ARCA, honestly, after just about 3 laps or so, or you've kind of settled in and you're pretty well where you need to be. So for this episode, I decided to shorten things up. Truck Series races, they're going to be back up in length, so don't you worry about that now as we look to hopefully by the end of this episode sign a deal to move up into the Truck Series for next season, as we are already ripping the top. How about Cletus McFarland up here in the top 15? A very good run for him so far going now as we roll through 1 and 2 lap 2. The 76 of Cole Raz will pass him through the center of the corner now, and there's the 97 of Jason Kitzmiller there. I keep getting my Kitzmillers completely confused of who's who, but nonetheless, we're continuing to work our way forward on this outside lane. 3 wide with Lawless Allen, and I believe that was Jake Finch on the far inside now, and we're into the top 5 up to the back of Jan Kowiak as we roll through 3 and 4. We would pass him on the outside, run down Sawalich and LeVar Scott to the inside of the 18, and we have a chance to maybe get our first win in ARCA. This would be a big deal as we roll through 3. We clear Sawalich and have a little bit of help as well coming from behind, hopefully from him, as we'll clear LeVar Scott. Leaned on him a little bit, but we would clear them both, but unfortunately I just didn't have enough for Brendan Queen. And on the final lap in 3 and 4, I actually get a little too aggressive trying to find any momentum, and we're going to give up a runner-up finish as Sawalich is going to come through at the line. Queen gets his first win finally on the season. We cross the stripe for 3rd place, so definitely, a step in the right direction. We're getting closer and closer to winning, but just I would have loved to have picked up a win on a 1.5 miles right there, but nonetheless, we are getting closer. North Wilkesboro, we qualified in 3rd, where we just finished in Kansas behind William Sawalich and Brendan Queen. The 2, as usual, title favorites, but like I said, a slow start to the season for Brendan Queen. It took him all this time to get a win. He might not even be a title favorite this season now, as we're beating and banging on the short track here from Wilkesboro. We settle into 4th behind Tyler Reef into turn number 3. Someone's to my inside, that's Lawless Allen in the number 20. This is a track I struggled at a bit in my rookie season, and it was kind of showcasing similar here. I didn't have a lot of speed now, but we do fight back and rally past the 20 of Allen to get back into the 4th position. But that was it. I had nothing for the top 3 of Queen, Reef, and Sawalich. I just could not run them down to save my life. So this was pretty well it for me, and we would settle into the 4th position, coming to the final lap of this race at this point now, and William Sawalich in full control. He is cruising to a victory, but we once again are continuing to now not find top 10 consistency, but we're now starting to find top 5 consistency, and I was certain a win was just around the corner at this point now as we exit turn 4 to the line. P4 holding off Lawless Allen. Overall, another step in the right direction. A track we struggled at last season. Well, we just backed that up with a 4th place effort here, but Sawallich takes victory as we head on into the next event here from Charlotte, where we unfortunately had to start from the back of the field after failing inspection. So a win was going to be pretty well impossible without a miracle, but now we got an opportunity to prove that we can actually show ourselves and our ability to work our way through traffic as well. I mean, that's another thing Toyota is watching in this development program that they have signed me on to is, hey, you can prove you can win, but you also got to prove you know how to race properly. Your racecraft needs to be there getting through the field, and we haven't had really good chances to do that this career mode so far because we kind of run around where we qualify a lot. But now we've got a fast car. We started dead last, and we had worked our way into the top 20 on lap 4, though. I would make a bit of a mistake with Caleb Costner and send him spinning through turn 1, and that would cause a caution. That was entirely my fault, and I would accept full responsibility of that accident now, as we would have a late race restart. That was absolutely not what I wanted to do, as that hurts me. It gives me less laps of racing to try and work our way back up towards the front. So we had passed half the field, and then I had wrecked a competitor. Wasn't how I wanted to go about things now, and we would get back underway for another late race restart here from Charlotte now, and honestly, with 2 to go, I felt like this was a race where we were going to be just as competitive as we were in Kansas, so I was really disappointed that we were not, of course, starting up towards the front and had to start at the back, but nonetheless, I mean, we're just going to try and bring this thing home and focus in on the next race now as we came to the final lap, getting a little bit aggressive there, going into turn number 1 now. Brad Smith in the 48, we are all good here as we roll through 1 and 2. Plowing up the racetrack into the side of the car on my outside as we exit the corner, heading down this back straightaway, but we'll get up into maybe even the top 13, passing Jason Kitzmiller, Staropoli into turn 3. There's Greg Van Alst for P11, but overdriving the car into turn 3, and we have certainly paid the price today of just overdriving this number 10, and we would have to settle for a 15th place effort there. Not what I wanted, and we just didn't make ourselves overall look that good. Climbing through the field, caused a crash, overdriving the car, all those different things in one. Brendan Queen would pick up the win. On to Michigan, where we would qualify inside the top 10 again, and I think now once again we can set our focus on a top 5, and if we play our cards right, maybe a chance at victory. Now, this is a very draft-heavy racetrack. Unless you can break the draft, it's very hard to get away from everybody, of course. So, as we head down into turn number 1, poor start allows LeVar Scott to get in front of myself here. Does he drop down? Not really. I mean, he kind of is dropping down now. As we exit turn 2 down this back straightaway, here comes one of the Kitzmillers there, Jason, that is, in the 97. We get help from behind as well, giving us a nice speed boost that I needed into turn number 3. Brendan Queen leads into 3, but I mean, it's going to get spicy up here, and look at us. We are coming up into the conversation immediately on the end of lap number 1 there. We were 3 wide briefly on the exit of turn number 4 down this front straightaway, and now here we go up into P6 behind Jake Finch. As we come out of turn 2, we pass him. We would get to the inside of the 69 Ford Mustang of Will Kimmel, and here we come now to the left rear of William Sawallich and sucking up towards the back of the 20 of Lawless Allen. There is a real chance we could maybe come out of this with a top 2, top 3, maybe even a victory here from Michigan. Now more help coming from behind, and that gives me a big run to the outside of Lawless Allen. Now, thank you, I believe that was LeVar Scott who gave me the big pushes. We're going to go right to the back of Brendan Queen, and as we would continue to follow Queen until the very final lap of this race, in second position off of turn 4, pulling at a line to the inside. Now coming through the tri-oval to the start finish line, white flag is waving. It's a drag race for the lead, and all of a sudden we're in position to win for the first time in our ARCA career. Now as we nearly clear the 28, we are briefly clear into turn number 1, hugging the inside lane. Here comes Queen with the momentum, fights back on the outside. It's going to be game on down this back straightaway. Who's going to get back here first now? We're going to lean on the quarter panel, side draft that 28, pull him back into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race all the way back to the finish now. Can we clear him maybe in 3? He runs way high. We slide up across the nose of Queen, and we've got the lead off of turn 4, and we're clear down the front straightaway. Finally, it's going to happen. We are going to be an ARCA Series winner in Michigan, the first win of the career mode, and and now we have proven we can win races at the top of the ARCA series, as we would climb out of the car through the window net and celebrate our victory here in Michigan. We'll remember that one for a long time to come. Our first win comes at Michigan. But it wasn't long after that, one race later, my first pole position would come at Lime Rock Park on a road course. I said once we win, I feel like the floodgates are going to open, and it certainly seems like that now. Here we are on pole position at Lime Rock Park at the halfway point of the season alongside William Sawalich, and now we have a chance to not only win our first race in Michigan, now we have a chance to go back to back, and of course we'll get a point standings update, especially if we can win this race and see where we are, as Sawalich would come at us quick and he would actually take the lead here from Lime Rock. So now we are going to have our work cut out for us now. Sawalich is no slouch, a very talented young prospect of the of course ARCA series. Rumor has it he might be moving up into ARCA, moving from ARCA into Xfinity next season. But at the end of lap 1, we're going to make a pass on Sawalich and retake the lead down the front straightaway into turn number 1. But I'm actually going to outbrake myself into the corner, and we're going to run a little bit wide off the racetrack, and Sawalich goes back through. We drop back down to P2. Fortunately, we get it back on the track and going in the right direction, and it was by the end of lap 3, coming to 2 laps to go in this race, where we would be all over the back of Sawalich once more. And as we come out of the final turn, here we go again, up the inside, wheel to wheel as we head towards turn 1. Let's not make the same mistake that we just made in this Intercop Toyota Camry for top tier racing. We're back out in front. This time we get through the turns 1 and 2 significantly better. We clear Sawalich, and now the goal is simple. Hang on, but also drive away from that number 18 to make sure he cannot even put an ounce of pressure on me for the checkered flag here in this race, and that's exactly what I would do. We would open up the gap by about a second as we came through to the final lap, and just a few corners to go at this point now, and we have done it. We won in Michigan for our first career win, and now with 2 corners to go, we have our sights on back-to-back victories now as we head down the elevation through the final bend, and here we come out of the final turn. It's going to be 2 consecutive wins as the floodgates have opened. We will take the win here from Lime Rock Park. What a day, and what a back-to-back couple of races, and these 2 races would be monumental, because following Lime Rock Park, we would get a contract offer for a new startup car on the Tricon Garage teams, or startup truck I should say, but we have a contract offer from Tricon Garage for a 1-year deal in the number 10, which will be sponsored by SKF. Obviously, I would accept the offer. We will be truck racing for Tricon Garage in the number 10 next season, as we are P4 in the standings after 10 races. 9 more to go, and it kicks off in Dover in the next episode. We've still got 30 plus points to make up on Sawalich, nearly 40, so it's not going to be easy. We don't even have to win the championship, but we just got to keep winning races now. 2 wins under our belt right at the end of the episode, and I hope we can keep the momentum going into the final episode of our ARCA career before we move up into trucks. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day.